This time we're looking at developmental networks. This is an Australian thorny dragon, and we're going to look at the developmental network that determines whether or not he has spikes on certain parts of his body. So here's the network. You can see that S stimulates P by this arrow. P inhibits I inhibits K stimulates E, and E stimulates the production of the spikes. So since I will inhibit K, and we need K to stimulate E, we need this P to block the I so that E can be stimulated and spikes will be produced. So here's a mutation where we take out P. P is what inhibits I, and I is kind of the bad guy here for K because it blocks K from stimulating E. So without this inhibitor of I, it's able to inhibit K, and there will be no spikes. Now let's try taking out I. So since I is the bad guy that inhibits K, P usually would have to inhibit I. But if there is no I in the first place, then P doesn't have to do that, which doesn't really matter. So K is going to be free to stimulate the E, which will stimulate the production of spikes, and we will see spikes from this mutation. Now we're going to look at a double mutation, taking out both I and E. So what you want to focus on with the double mutation is the more downstream part, which would be the E. So since E is the one that allows spikes to be produced, without it spikes can't be produced, because we need that E to stimulate the transcription that will cause the spikes to form. Now we're going to take out both S and K, again focusing here on the K as it's more downstream. The thing about taking out the K is that E needs the stimulation from K before it will start transcribing for the production of spikes. So without that K there won't be any spikes because E won't do anything to cause them to be produced. So most of the mutations we talked about ended up inhibiting the production of spikes. But as you can see, the thorny dragon still has plenty of spikes all over his body. But this regulation, like of the mutations, just keeps him from having every skin cell on his body covered in spikes, which would just make it hard for him to move and function. Here are my references for the photo and the slides.